So you really must check out this new Visitor Information Center, which was designed around the needs of people in a blossoming urban landscape, such as Cape Town, especially as today marks the start of spring. It's a walk-in center with interactive screens where people and business groups can engage with products and experiences. And I was personally involved in this revamp, so I would love for people to experience it and to hear what they think of it. But I've always been a big fan of flying, grabbing hold of the controls of a plane and guiding it through the air to the desired destination. And I really think of this moment much in the same way. So now bear with me because I'm about to use lots of aviation or flying terms in this speech. So fasten your seatbelts, there's the first one, because we are, as a crew, getting ready to embark on a flight that is really the next leg of an exciting journey that has far been characterized by much turbulence, both in the past year and a half and before that. And I think the most striking being the volumes of tourists countrywide decreasing by 72.6% from 10.2 million in 2019 to 2.8 million in 2020. And arrivals to Cape Town International Airport dropped to 65% when compared to arrivals in 2019. But it's not all doom and gloom, as Cape Town International Air Terminal achieved a 21% passenger recovery rate for the first 3 weeks of August 2021 compared to the same period in 2019, while international airline capacity reached the 50% recovery mark for the first time since the resumption of international services in October 2020. So I'm delighted to say that this is the highest recovery rate since international travel has resumed. But ladies and gentlemen, we can think of the theme of this year's Tourism Month, Tourism for Inclusive Growth, as our destination or goal. This concept of inclusive growth is an especially important one to me and is really at the heart of all that my team and I do in this portfolio. In fact, even before I was the MACO member for Economic Opportunities, and when I was the Shadow Minister of Tourism in Parliament, I came to understand the real value of this industry, both in terms of people's own livelihoods and for the broader economy. And it's through tourism that people share their cultures or beliefs, their communities, their cuisine with people from the other side of the world. And because while Cape Town is known for its beloved landmarks like Table Mountain, Kirstenbosch Gardens, the V&A Waterfront, Cape Point, Groot Constantia, and Robben Island, at the core of all that we offer as a destination, and what really sets us apart as a city, it's our people. Cape Town soars through the cultures, languages, cuisines, smiles, and communities formed by those who live in it. I'm always reminded by the words of Enver when he says, Cape Town must be a great place to live in order for it to be a great place to visit. And so we are all aware of the importance of tourism to the economy and people's livelihoods. But let me remind you, this sector contributed nearly 3% or 130 billion rand to GDP in 2018, and 4.5% of those employed in South Africa worked in the tourism industry. 113,000 direct tourism jobs were held in Cape Town in 2018. And that's not even taking into account the direct and indirect value of tourism to the other industries such as retail, manufacturing, transportation. This makes clear that tourism is everybody's business. And this is why we fund partners such as the city's destination marketing organization, Cape Town Tourism, because through CTT, we are able to create awareness of the mother city, stay connected with travelers before, during, and after their visit, and simultaneously empower local industry businesses with access to information, networking opportunities, exposure, and many more. So while there's still much work ahead of us, I think it's worth mentioning that our campaigns and strategies implemented at various stages over the past year have helped many in Cape Town's industry to fly a little easier through the stormy weather of this pandemic. So through initiatives such as our Tourism Bounce Back strategy, launched 1 year ago, we detailed the avenues through which we help the industry to recover and stimulate supply and demand from specific source markets. And also implementing this plan together with our partners, such as the Air Access Initiative, which receives funding from the city. More airlines have returned and are scheduled to come back to Cape Town International Airport in recent weeks. Emirates, Singapore Airlines, Lufthansa, and Turkish Airlines came back, while British Airways is set to fly to and from Cape Town from November. Now, the value of Cape Town International Airport to the city and to our country's economy cannot be underscored. Cape Town International Airport is the gateway into Cape Town, and we will be further acknowledging this when the city unveils the sign at the airport stating that for the 6th year in a row, Cape Town International Airport has been voted the best airport in Africa. Local hospitality businesses have also seen a similar uptick in business. Prior to the third wave, hotel occupancy rates during the second quarter of 2021 recorded a significant improvement in occupancy than almost all the other sub-markets in South Africa. This also came about in the 2 months leading up to winter, typically when occupancy rates decline throughout the Western Cape. Now I'm going to take you on a map of our specific interlinked goals. Now, in order to not only help the local tourism industry get back to its pre-pandemic altitude, but to actually go higher and make it a destination of tourism for inclusive growth, we have mapped out specific goals that will help us get there. These are domestic marketing to bring back locals who are really desperate to get out and about and explore their country after almost 2 years in lockdown. And under this banner, CTT will be launching the Explore Captivating Cape Town local campaign. Affordability of products and services, which relates to our first goal, because the average South African is keeping really a tight lid on spending right now. So we must endeavor to show them that there's much more to see and do in the mother city that is budget friendly. And so Cape Town Tourism's pocket-friendly challenge speaks to this. And I encourage you all to check it out, as well as their 50 things to do for under 50 Rand. Community tourism to show the diversity, cuisine and cultures that makes us uniquely Cape Town. In just 1 day in Cape Town, you can do drumming lessons in Langa, do a bit of shopping of locally made crafts, then grab a Gatsby with your friends in Athlone, work off that Gatsby at a surf lesson in Muizenberg, then going on for an adrenaline-charged 4x4 off-road experience in the Atlanta sand dunes, and take in some amazing street art in Salt River and Woodstock. And don't forget Boerkaap. And also finish off the day with the best fish and chips you will ever taste in Kalk Bay. Now that's a proper Cape Town experience, and I would not recommend all the landmarks and activities I'm mentioning, if I did not personally get to experience it. Now, as a local government department charged with enterprise and investment, together with our partners, we provide support mechanisms to the small businesses that provide these experiences. And I would like to encourage entrepreneurs around the city to contact the city's business help desk called the Business Hub and ask them your questions about cutting red tape or tendering or other queries you might have about growing your business. Speak to our investment facilitation unit about incentives offered to help you grow your operations in Cape Town. Now, Cape Town Tourism will also be providing businesses with a neighborhood experience development training manual to help guide SMMEs to develop their businesses and encourage neighborhood readiness for when we start seeing visitors again. And I really must commend CTT on this Neighborhood Watch training manual, because it's really the nuts and bolts behind tourism development, and it provides detail and has been developed in partnership with tertiary level experts at Cape Town Peninsula University of Technology. This is really a fantastic tool and a tangible example of working towards inclusive growth, because it's got detailed modules on, for example, packaging your business, offering for tourists, conducting market research, cultural understandings, and each module comes with practical activities for the user. There are even guides on how to do an income statement, pricing techniques, health and safety best practices, and making use of bookings and marketing platforms. And for more information on this manual, email trade@capetown.travel. Now on to technology. I really believe that technology will help to make a much more fuller and more seamless travel experience to Cape Town. And a good example of this is the Nomola, a travel safety app with whom CTT has collaborated and who provides visitors and information on health and safety and even quick access to an emergency operator if needed. And we're also exploring smart applications and enhanced search engine optimization. So when some curious would-be traveler somewhere in the world is hunting online for information about adventurous or interesting activities, what kind of wines they can find, such as the wonderful wineries in Durbanville, or where you can go kite surfing, such as the beautiful beaches of Blouberg, Cape Town pops up with all the information they need. Now targeting our African travelers. So through marketing campaigns in countries across the continent, we will be exploring partnerships and sister city agreements in markets such as Kenya, Botswana, Zambia, and Nigeria. Because foreign Africans comprised 74.3% of international visitors to South Africa in 2019. So in the slipstream of our successful air connectivity program with cities on the continent, it makes sense for us to build on this for the benefit of travel and trade and show that Cape Town is a proudly African city. Now our overseas marketing to bring back the millions of travelers around the world who are itching to visit our shores. So at CTT, this will take shape under their new Find Your Freedom campaign, where potential travelers will be able to choose their own Cape Town adventure in an interactive video. We are also busy engaging with international partners and destinations to put our branding in airports and billboards in those cities, as well as in-flight media on specific international airlines, to make sure that potential travelers in those key source markets really convert to actual travelers. Now, in supporting these goals, we have to battle quite a lot of headwinds. And so much of our approach in taking them on falls under the umbrella of a holistic marketing strategy that captures the fullness of our offering as a city. And this is called the city's six-pillar destination marketing and communication initiative that positions Cape Town as a premier destination in Africa to visit, live, work, study, play, and invest. And so within this strategy, there are several issues that we are tackling. And because it's Tourism Month, we must also deal with those headwinds head on so that we can really make travel to South Africa and to Cape Town seamless to help drive the demand for tourism that will make business sense. And so therefore we will continue to lobby government for the launch of a remote worker visa, which would allow international working tourists to stay and spend in South Africa for longer periods. We will also continue on our halal tourism campaign and exploring how we can expand our offering into this key travel group. Not only is South Africa one of the top 5 destinations for international Muslim travelers, we can proudly state that the Muslim culture is part of Cape Town's DNA, and we have a rich and interwoven heritage with Cape Malay Muslims accounting for less than a quarter of Cape Town's population. Now, the halal travel sector's contribution to the global economy is massive, and there's room for further growth. And so through CTT, we are implementing numerous strategies to attract this growing market segment. And CTT has also partnered with the Crescent Rating, known as the world's leading authority on halal travel. We will also appeal to the UK government to remove South Africa from the so-called red list, which really discourages British travellers, our biggest international inbound travel market, from coming to South Africa because of their country's high quarantine costs upon re-entry there. Our country's place on this list comes at a huge cost to South Africa's economy. And with South Africa's vaccine rollout well underway, it is time for the UK government to revise this listing. We will also urging other nations across the globe to review their travel restrictions, particularly for vaccinated travellers. They should take their lead from Germany, who alleviated quarantine restrictions for vaccinated travelers based on a scientific finding that concluded that vaccinated travelers are no longer significant in the spread of COVID-19 and do not pose a major risk to the German population. Similarly, we will reiterate the call for the National Transport Department to approve the US airline Delta's request to fly to Cape Town. The US is a key tourist market for Cape Town and South Africa, and the majority of their travelers to South Africa include the mother city in their itineraries. And therefore, the Transport Department's decision to inconvenience international travelers in this way will severely impact Cape Town, and thus South Africa's tourism industry. And then, of course, boosting Cape Town's destination profile in the cruise market through the recently launched Cruise Cape Town, a partnership between the City of Cape Town, Westgrow, Transnet National Ports Authority, the Western Province Department of Economic Development and Tourism, and the V&A Waterfront, and also the South African Maritime Safety Association. Now, this is a market that has really great potential for huge economic benefits, or should I say, a wave of benefits. Now, both in terms of passenger and crew spend, and for maintenance of cruise ships. And I really think this will have a huge impact, a positive impact, coming on our festive season bookings, as the local cruise season is due to set sail in around November this year. And two of the biggest cruise line groups, MSC and the Norwegian Cruise Line, have already announced that they would be porting in Cape Town in the last weeks of this year. And then, colleagues, the long overdue rollout of an e-visa, which I've been calling for since I was Shadow Minister in Parliament some 6 years ago. Home Affairs Minister Aaron Motsoaledi has confirmed that the e-visa will be going ahead later this year, and so let us keep our eyes open for that to make sure it goes ahead. And also then the reduction of aviation taxes as a way of lowering the cost of travel so that more South Africans can travel at an affordable rate. This is really something else that I've been lobbying national government to do for quite some time. And it is now more than ever critical that we really look at these type of measures to make travel more affordable, because it will ease up the burden of cost on budget-conscious South Africans who want, and dare I say deserve, to travel in and around their own beautiful country. So, as you can see, we have a great deal on our radar. And so during the course of this month, my team and I will be visiting various tourism and hospitality service providers in Langa, Mitchells Plain, Kirstenbosch, Khayelitsha, Woodstock, and many more. And we will also be visiting schools where we will speak to future tourism entrepreneurs about the value of tourism and socially investing in their city. Because let's face it, COVID has changed everything. Most of us have had to make drastic changes to the way we live, work, and play. And it has also brought into stark relief then the turbulence that has long rocked our journey as a nation. Inequality, unemployment, a lack of access to opportunities, and an economy that was heading downward and is now frightfully nearing towards a crash. But we can recover. With the tailwinds of innovation, collaboration, and positivity pushing us, we can break the barriers and create a more inclusive tourism industry that will fly higher than ever. But it will require us as government and industry leaders to radically reimagine how we work together across businesses and sectors, and reimagine what we offer to travelers looking for an experience that they will not get anywhere else. There's no time to waste. And I would like to encourage every one of you to do what you can to support locals. Book an overnight stay at a B&B in Simonstown, or go for a lunch at an eatery in Khayelitsha, or give a shout out on Facebook to your favorite local business in our Cape Town Plus You campaign. Every bit helps. And let us also support the hashtag Jobs for Tourism campaign and flood social media with posts showing how many of us in the country are vaccinated, so that tourists can see that we are a safe destination worth traveling to. And so as I make my final approach, I want to take this opportunity to give a heartfelt thanks to my team and colleagues, some of whom are here with me, our partners, Cape Town Tourism, Air Access, FedHasa, Skull, and elsewhere. It has been my great honor to work with you, and while there are still a few months left of my term in this current administration, I hope to have the pleasure of working with you wherever the next adventure will take us. Thank you very much.